Cabin in the Woods is directed and co-written by Drew Goddard, and it's most notably starring Chris Hemsworth as Kurt, and he's playing a very cliched jock in high school that you could see in pretty much any other movie. And you also have a hilarious stoner character who is always high, and he ends up being the smartest person in the entire film because he apparently is immune to this gas that intoxicates everyone else and makes them make really stupid decisions somehow. And that's definitely one of the most hilarious things about this film, is they use this gas, like this group of people that are spying on them and trying to sacrifice them to these giant gods. It's a very bizarre concept, but they're using this gas to make them make really stupid decisions, like splitting up and searching for clues, like in Scooby-Doo, or like going into a really creepy basement that no one would want to go into. They're really playing on many horror movie tropes and cliches that you see in horror movies all the time. It's hilarious, and I love it. Now, naturally, you're probably not going to care for these characters because they are very stupid. They're cliched, and they're not really relatable in any way, besides the fact that they're teenagers, and they're very horny. Like, especially Chris Hemsworth playing the jock, and his girlfriend and everything. It gets very bizarre. But it's what you should expect, because they are playing on horror movie tropes, like how teenagers are so horny in the film, they just want to go and have sex, or how women in horror films are treated like sex objects. Like, there's even a guy at a gas station that they come across that just blatantly calls her a whore out of nowhere. Like, this film knows exactly what it's trying to play on, and the way they managed to bring satire to this, it's so clever, and I love the comedy here. Now, naturally, with how they want to be a satire with this film, they have a lot of direct references to horror classics, and they get very obvious about it at times, especially with the gas station scene where they are on the road trip to get to this cabin, and they come across this really strange guy with this southern accent. He's very suspicious, and it felt like it was straight out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like almost like the exact same scene. And there's also a scene that's very reminiscent of Friday the 13th, where they're all going and diving in the lake. It's not even necessarily a bad thing either. It's just something that really stuck out to me, something that I just couldn't get over. Another thing that's so great about this film is it is so well paced. It does not waste your time at a single moment. It knows exactly what it wants to be, and it constantly keeps you engaged with some great comedy, but also some great and entertaining moments of horror madness that really horror fans of any kind can enjoy. It doesn't let up at any moment, especially in the final act. Like, it just lets it all out. Like, it's just like throwing it up. Another major positive is this film has some masterful cinematography, especially the lighting. I love the backlighting they use when they emphasize a certain character or object, like indicating something's about to happen, or just in general for comedic effect too. It can be used both ways. And they also have really good high key lighting too. When they use it, it looks great. They overall use really good camera work too, especially the angles. It's all really smooth, and it creates some masterful visuals. And I love the costume design too, the makeup design. They all manage to create some great horror characters that they bring in later on. I love pretty much every single visual aspect of this film, and it looks amazing. My only real negative with this film is a minor plot hole. There is a moment when they are passing through this cave right around the same time as a bird is, and they pass right at the same time, but the bird is the one who dies. But the cave is just fine somehow. And they also mention this later in the film, but it doesn't make any sense. It's like, how do you keep them from escaping if the cave isn't affected by this grid? And if it is, then how did they get through right at the same time that the bird just died? But honestly, if you can put that negatives aside, this is a very clever, entertaining horror comedy. I'm giving Cabin in the Woods, a 9 out of 10. But as always, I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you in the next video.